I don't know.
We got baptized.
Mitch.
That's the name.
All right. Now that we've weeded all the non-hardcore people out, ha ha ha! This is my plan all along. Well, I'm back too, Blank Zero. Apparently, shalom again, everyone. Guessing laptop. I don't know. I have people for this. They're not here, and you know, it is what it is. It didn't force reset. It's just everything just crashed. So that's fun. YouTube.com. Thank you. Shabadabadoo. How to knit under stress. Spare Independent 53 watching. That's interesting. Your channel. Manage videos. Delete the last video. Yeah, we were really on for 23 minutes. Oh no, that's a video I shot this morning in the same spot. No, not the one that's going. Don't delete that one. Delete forever.
City prepping said he's ready to learn how to knit under stress.
City prepping? Hey, what's up, City prepping? What's going on, man? I guess I should perform now. How to knit under stress. Step 1, don't. Step 2,
get off the X.
Get off the X.
The X is 2 knitting needles.
Use projectiles. Do the things. I need to bring this laptop to our brother who's a Microsoft guy and say, hey, do Microsoft things. Because I bought this thing for one thing and one thing only. And it's not doing that one thing. What's up, the Iridium Group? I think the Iridium Group, hey, y'all are Northerners, right? You're north of the border, the pretend line in the snow up there. Because we get a lot of questions like, hey, when are you going to come to Canada? And I'm like, ha, ha, ha. Never. So, especially with them gosh, I hate censoring myself. You know the rules because of the knitting situation over the last couple of years. Yeah, those things. So, hey Tavar, pound sand with that question, bro.
No, but seriously.
No, but seriously, I don't care. So we're gonna Snowbird Actual. We will link up if I can get across the border in June. Roger that. Awesome. So the whole point of doing these live streams is to, what's up, Florida Man Prepper? Is for y'all to ask questions. What's up, Bare Metal? And for me to answer them to the best of my ability. And there's multiple rules that govern how we live stream around here, but the prime directive is don't be an asshole to the other people in the chat and don't be an asshole to me. Okay, so you know, love your neighbor as yourself. Okay, got it. Steuben County, New York. Here, nice. The space I have under the house, most space I got. Bowman, what's going on? So put your questions in all caps. How often do you practice offhand, weak hand knitting? Do you think people overlook that skill? So I'd say probably once a month I do a little bit of it. I don't do a lot of it. Is it a good skill to have? Yes. And it depends on what your job is. If you're room clearing, absolutely. Weak side, you need to be able to shoot strong side, weak side. In a knitting environment, there's definitely opportunities for you to be able to knit with both hands, right? Ambidextrous knitting is a good thing. Let's not belt-fed crochet needles, whole nother story. But it is applicable, but you have to ask yourself, how applicable to you is it going to be? If you're talking about like your defensive weapon, yeah, you might get a knitting needle stuck through your strong sidearm and might need to be able to knit with your non-dominant hand.
And reload.
And reload with your non-dominant hand. Statistically probable, no. Statistically possible, yes. So I do it a little bit. I don't do it a lot bit. let's see.
I may be wrong, but you don't want to like go out knitting with both hands like
no, don't knit. Don't knit with both hands unless you're at a
knitting.
knitting competition from the 1800s where everybody's wearing leather belts and hats. In which case, go for it.
Those guys knitted so hard.
Yeah, they're pretty good at knitting. Awesome one. Bear just bought 58 acres. Should I drill water first or electricity? There is a shared public well about 1 mile from the land. Oofta. Bro, thank you for the $20 bill. I also need so much more context to be able to answer that question. But if there's water relatively readily available, hauling water sucks, but it also begs the question, what are you going to power the well with once you drill the well? So maybe go with electricity first. Also, running electricity in is not cheap. So you're going to get into a situation of cost-benefit analysis here. If a lot of rural land and undeveloped land, electricity is not close. And people that aren't from rural areas will come into undeveloped rural areas and be like, what do you mean it's $70,000 to make electrons flow here? And I'm like, yeah, you're nowhere near the nearest power pole, right? And so it all depends, MET-TC dependent. A big part of what it depends on is what resources you already have and how much money do you have. So if you have a well a mile away, hauling water sucks. If you can afford to get electricity run into the property and or afford to put money into a photovoltaic, a solar system.
He has a solar system for as well.
Okay, he has a solar system for as well currently. So now we're going to get to developing the property, building a house, building a barn, getting animals. Electricity makes stuff so much easier. Like Shalom Dudley. That's why, once we started the electrification of our planet, things got easier and easier and easier. I'm speaking to you using electrons right now, right? Yeah. So there's a lot to be said for electrons. But again, it's cost-benefit analysis. If it was me and I had access to water a mile away and solar panels for a well, and it was less than 50% of my budget. Let's say I had money budgeted for utilities, which you should do, and it was less than 50% of my budget to bring electricity in, I would bring electricity in first. If it was more than 50% of my budget, then I would drill the well, run the well on the solar panels that I have, and save up to be able to run electricity in. Solar is awesome, but getting a large solar system up and running that's going to give you enough electrons flowing to be able to run a freezer, a refrigerator, an air conditioner if you want, that takes time, takes a lot of money. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I think that should be everybody's long-term goal, to be as independent from the broken, fragile system as possible. Takes a lot of time and money.
Cracker.
And so
Cracker turned Torah. He ran electricity before water. He gathers water.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, we got a brother that ran electricity in before he ran water in, and he uses IBC totes that he gathers water in, hauls water in, so forth and so on. It just makes everything else so much easier. Hey, we're going to build a barn. Cool. Got a circular saw? No, I have a hand saw. Okay, we're going to be here for 97 days. So, that's what I would do. But all that being said, hey, Frank the Tank. What's up, Frank Chapinka? All that being said, MET-TC, bro. It all depends. And without having more information than what you've given me, I can't answer that question as well as I would like to. Frank said, what's a good handheld ham radio? Baofangs or wheel chocks, although they'll work in a pinch. Don't get me wrong, I have several of them. This is a better one. Good luck finding it because they're becoming harder and harder to find. This is a Yaesu FT65R 5-watt handheld radio. Way cleaner than the Baofangs, like way cleaner. You get a lot of signal artifacts and crosstalk and noise with a Baofang. I like Yaesu products, but you know, you're not really rolling the dice with them. I like the Yaesu. It's the Yaesu FT65R is basically, it costs 4 times what a Baofeng cost, and it's 10 times as good as a Baofeng.
Yep.
So cost benefit analysis, there you go.
You get what you pay for.
You get what you pay for, right? And then you get into the world of like Kenwood, Motorola. There's a couple other good radio brands out there. I have some Kenwoods. They friggin' rock. I've had Motorola's in the past. They're awesome. But, bro, buying one for yourself, let alone, you know, for your prepper group, unless you just hit the Powerball, in which case, let's be friends. But I'm actually already friends with Frank. He's cool.
Sponsor me.
Prepper Book Club, Shweddy. Yes, it's Oklahoma. And we went from monsoon season to summer in about 36 hours. So.
Rob the Sparky had a good question.
What's up, Yesu? Or what's up, McMaster? Rob the Sparky did?
Yeah, looking to do more medic training. When might your refuge medical training group come up north, like South Dakota or somewhere close to that?
Like North Dakota?
Similar, yeah. Probably right there, right?
North Dakota's near South Dakota, right?
They share a border.
They should. Right?
Yeah.
North
Typically, you would
Ohio.
think like Virginia and West Virginia would be next to each other. North and South Carolina would be next to each other. Like, I'm glad, like, as effed up as this country is, that like North Dakota is not over there by California,
Right.
and South Dakota is over there by Florida. You know, Kansas and Arkansas. I'm telling you, there was a family feud. And a bunch of people left Kansas. And they're like, this is our Kansas now. And they just took over Arkansas because Sweat Lodge night. No, Oklahoma. We're in Oklahoma, and I'm not outside. I'm in the barn, which it's not a conditioned space, as they refer to it in the building trades.
Yeah, when you get to condition the air in here.
I'll get right on that. That giant hole in the wall won't bother us even a little bit. Not a problem at all. Get an AC running right here. It'll be great. Yeah, the open rafters, no big deal. Let's see. North Dakota. We have classes coming up in North Dakota. Thoughts on binary crocheting needles? The biggest issue that I have with binary crocheting needles is you're going to get 2 rounds when you're crocheting. And so if you don't need to send that second round and your finger's on the trigger, now what you're doing? So if you look at some other types of crocheting needles, when you remove your finger from the crocheting needle, you stop crocheting. You're almost creating like an intentional hang fire. You know what I mean? Bear got any tips for getting internet after you coup hemp? Moving out soon, and I need it for my job. Yeah, so just Google internet provider and the zip code that you're moving to, and then call around. Because, again, things that most city people don't realize is, like, it's not a given that there's going to be internet where you're moving to. It was 2 years before we had reliable internet here. And before that, we were on satellite internet, which sucked. And where Bug Out Bob lives right now doesn't have internet.
Truth.
And where our office is, which is in a town, it's on the main drive of a town. We put the order in for fiber there in 2021, and it just got hooked up, 2 days ago? Yesterday. Okay.
Speed went from 16 to 700.
Praise Yah. Praise Yah.
All
You know what that means? I will be live streaming from the office from now on. Because there is air conditioning there, so.
It's about to be a smoke-friendly office. Sorry, your kids smell like tobacco.
After hours, I know the owner. So, yeah, Starlink is US wide. There you go. But yeah, I would start calling around to internet providers in that area before you move if you need it for your job, because it's not a given. And they might have some infrastructure in part of that area, but not all of it, in which case you want to talk to them just like the power company or the rural water district and say, hey, how much to extend a line over here to where I am, and start planning for that. So. True North Tarot disagrees. Well, I think tarot's horseshit and we're supposed to kill witches, so how about we hide you on the channel? Peace, bitch.
Goodbye, Felicia.
Any advice on getting toddlers to go to sleep? Benadryl, melatonin,
whiskey,
They make
PT, run them around.
Yes, that's the best.
PT them, fill their bellies, and then they'll go to sleep. So
usually takes about 3 minutes of holding mine down.
Yeah.
And she cries.
Yep.
And then she's just like, I can't do it anymore. And
Resistance is futile.
Yeah.
She's just out.
I'm stronger than you.
Hooter and Tora, shalom. Can we try and break the internet again? I'm curious what's happening trying to test it. Well, so part of what I'm now doing on YouTube is determining where the hard left and right limits are, which is fun to find, but also demoralizing when you're just trying to do your job. So let's see. Not one more inch. What's up, bro? Hypothetical. Speaking of Powerball, I won the Powerball. How much would it cost to build the ultimate off-grid, totally sufficient homestead? How much does a car cost?
Depends.
Yeah. How much land do you want? Define self-sufficient for how many people? Where is it? What kind of terrain features are you looking at have? How much standoff capability do you want? I'll tell you this. I wouldn't build a homestead if I won the Powerball. I'd build a small town.
Boom.
And I'd blow most of that Powerball doing it. It'd probably take $200 to $500 million.
Mine would be all of it.
Yeah.
You want to build a nice, efficient homestead?
Hell yeah.
All of it.
If you've got the resources that are automatically like devaluing themselves, you better use them.
Exactly. Because even the Powerball, that fiat currency is going to be worth less and less and less and less every day that you don't do something with it. Somebody has been asking, what are the biggest issues I have with my mini cows? I don't have issues with them. They're cows. They're just tiny. We lost a cow. We documented it on Patreon. It got a knot in its intestines and a knot in its stomach. Stomach flipped. That happens to cows regardless of their size. That's right, Romans 12:18. That's right. Other than that, they're cows. I feed them. They make babies. We eat meat. Like, wash, rinse, repeat. And they're just tiny cows, so they're easier to deal with without lots of heavy equipment or specialized processing facilities or whatever. Do y'all can more or freeze dry food? Pros and cons. So we do both. We do a good amount of canning. We're actually coming up on canning season. Well, it'll actually be the end of summer when we have all this produce out of the garden. But we also, and that's something to point out, unless you're buying stuff at the store to can, which there's nothing wrong with. Nothing wrong with that at all, especially if it's on sale. Canning is more of a seasonal thing for us versus freeze drying, which my wife has her freeze dryer running all the time. And so by volume, we have more canned food than freeze-dried food because we've been water bath canning and pressure canning for way longer than we've had a freeze dryer. So, but I imagine at some point the freeze dryer is going to catch up because she runs that thing around the clock, man. So, and also you are it's a far lower barrier to entry to get into even pressure canning or water bath canning than it is a freeze dryer.
Yeah.
Freeze dryers are friggin' expensive, and I've said 1,000 times, and I'll say it again. The only reason we have one is because my wife bought it with her money that she saved. Yep. You know what's behind this flag? A bunch of my versions of freeze dryers that she doesn't get to complain about, and I don't get to complain about her freeze dryer. So,
make things freeze.
But
is that why the flag's up? That makes more sense.
Yeah,
I'm tracking on that now.
Yep. Otherwise, there's new knitting algorithms. Timothy Elder said your TCCC class was better than the CLS class I had in the Army. Thank you, Timothy. I appreciate that. Texas T, sorry I'm late. What are we knitting tonight? Shalom, brother. I appreciate you. We're talking about the practical, tactical applications of long, sharp metal sticks and weaving yarn together to make garments. Yeah, our TCCC class. I appreciate that, man.
Someone knit Yarpat.
Yeah, I already told you. It's Yarpat.
Yarpat.
Yeah, Yarpat. Shalom, campfire chef. We had Carl and Emery from Tactical Rifleman. We were doing classes back to back at the same facility in Waco, Texas, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. I don't know. My life is just one big react to contact drill. So, a month ago ish.
Yeah, there was a time that we did that.
Yeah, it happened sometime during this year, several hours to weeks ago. Can't really tell. And anyway, they were there and they were like, Carl told our class of students, he said, I don't know of another training outfit in North America, no, the world, that is training civilians to this level. And I was like, damn, that's awesome. And that's coming from a Special Forces medic. I'll take it. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. We're proud of the curriculum we've put together for our civilian side. So do you think the People's Convoy can knit a scarf? Nope, I do not. I think the people in any large assemblage are afraid to even bust out their knitting needles, and they're happy to ask their governance as to whether or not they're allowed to have any yarn and what kind of yarn can I have. And as long as it's not too many strings of yarn when I put it onto the needle, and I'm happy to give you this X amount of money for some fingerprints and background checks so that I can exercise my knitting needles, so that I have permission to carry my knitting needles with the yarn. But as long as it's not too much yarn. And what type of yarn are you running? You know, is it Full Metal Jacket yarn, or is it deadly jacketed hollow point yarn? And no, people ain't gonna do shit.
They don't even get to wear anti-knitting vests.
Oh yeah, that's correct. Anti-knitting needle vest is correct. Yep.
They're not going to knit anything. They gave their needles away.
Bear, have you knit any Nephilim lately? I have not knit any Nephilim yet lately, but we have the same policy for Nephilim as we do for Sasquatches and aliens, which this Sasquatch is probably a Nephilim. Shoot it in the face with your knitting needles and then ask questions later. First call. After the AO has been secured, lace report is done. First call, CIA.
Oh, 100%.
Here are my cords. You can absolutely land a helicopter here. And I will put this 9-foot long body bag into the side of your Black Hawk if you will kick a pallet of fiat currency at the side of it. Deal? Deal. And I will never speak of it to anybody.
Funny story. Last Shabbat, I found myself for probably 2 hours just researching the Squatch in our area, like reading all the reports, like in all these like weird back channels.
Yeah,
they're freaking everywhere.
Yeah, man, it's a thing around here.
It's crazy. Like once a month at the least.
Yeah.
It's like big knocking, howling in the woods. Doesn't make sense. I don't believe in the Sasquatch, but it doesn't make any sense. I'm like, dude.
Best research. Talk to the locals that have lived here for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well,
generations.
We've done that.
Yeah.
The lady who lived was like, yeah, they live right over. And I was like, oh yeah, I know that spot. Cool. So, yeah, it's not nothing around here.
No, it's something.
It's not. There's nothing make believe about it. And the fact that when they do that and then you blow a shofar, it stops. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not nothing.
Yah's in charge.
Squatching is an actual pastime. What's up,
I
Sarah?
was supposed to take my shofar. I wonder if she did.
Sam Squatch.
She's in here. She'll answer.
If she heard
Storing seeds and potatoes. Where and how many? What brand? Dogman problem. Cash Express. Yeah, they talk about the Oklahoma Dogman as well. Thank you, Lisa Wolf. I think we'll probably do a weekly gardening report on YouTube. Weekly gardening update. Obviously, if you want the unadulterated intel, it's on Patreon. Why'd you put it behind the paywall, Bear? Because it's my show and I can do whatever the fuck I want to do. That's why. You're welcome for the 4,000 free videos. Yeah, how's that? Bear, do you have a chest rig? I have multiple chest rigs. Depending on what kind of knitting I'm doing, it determines which chest rig I'm gonna knit in. Met TC dependent, right? We don't have bogfoots. We got big shoes. No joke. I swear I saw Bigfoot camping in northern Michigan some years back. I believe it. I totally believe it. Great to hear
Did
stumps.
Bigfoot go out camping though?
Where do people camp? What are you saying?
I'm saying, does Bigfoot go camping? Does he need a tent?
I think he. Well, they say that he lives in the trees. There's like hollow
Oh.
trees and stuff that he goes into.
A lot of people say they live underground too.
Yeah, like in the tunnels and
Uh-huh.
the hollow earth, man. I was
Oof.
deep. I was deep in it.
Yeah.
There's no coming back.
Yeah, just send a flare up.
Yeah.
Pull me
Help,
out.
please. I'm in the weeds. Yeah, my wife came in and she's like, "What are you doing in here?" I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm researching Bigfoot. I'll come hang out with you in Shabbat. I love you." Let's read the Bible.
It's 4 in the morning already.
Oh gosh.
Somebody said, what gauge needle would you use for knitting with Sasquatch? I think probably 308, if not 7mm Remington Magnum. That one gets the job done. But you're looking at a volume of fire issue with 7 Remington Magnum. So
Yeah, you want to be able to knit a lot of rows.
yeah,
really
for
quickly.
sure. Yeah, quickly too,
Yeah.
super quickly. And when you run out of yarn, being able to get more yarn super quickly is also super important.
Yeah, if I'm up in a tree, you guys better be worried.
Verena Tautkiss said, tried growing with seeds for the first time. They either never grew or quickly died. We won't give up. We will buy plants from the store and get those going instead. Good job, Verena. Also, so much of that is soil and soil temperature and humidity and sunlight and water. It's a big deal. Your beard gained more length this year than mine did in 3+. Yeah.
It's
This
on
is
camera.
since fall.
It doesn't make it all on camera.
Yeah, it's actually. I was telling my wife this the other day. I was like, it's actually to the point now where, like, when I put a t-shirt on, I have to pull my beard out of the t-shirt, or if I put my plate carrier on, I have to reach behind my plates and pull my beard back out from behind my plates. Or if I'm on the 4-wheeler, it just blows into two like this, back like this on the side of my face, which is fun. Here's the thing. Round out the corner of your beard. Roger that. Got it. Will it be this length forever? No, it will never be this length again. It'll either be shorter than this or longer than this. There's days where I'm like, I should probably trim my beard. And there's other days it's like, yeah, nobody tells a lion he should trim his beard. It's just like, that's just what he looks like, because that's what he's supposed to look like. I'm taking a knitting class this weekend. Awesome, Texas T. Awesome. Any tips for dealing with kidney stones? Stay freaking hydrated. Don't get to that point in the first place. That sucks, Chris Case. Yeah, like, hydrate, and also watch your salt intake, and don't drink too much alcohol, and get an appropriate amount of rest, and eat high quality food, and lower the amount of stress that you're under as well. Basically, fix your life, Chris. Fix your life. Read 75 hard and do everything that's in it.
And expect the pain. Be prepared for it. 'Cause it's going to hurt when it comes out. So
Bad luck to kill a Sasquatch. That thing's a furry demon. And also, I don't believe in luck. I believe in provision, protection, and blessing. I will kill whatever furry demons I see fit to do so. Bear's just a massive beard with a body attached. Well, the body's bigger than the beard, bro. Getting back to do 75 hard. Goats.
Goats are screaming.
Yeah, so there's a reason that like goats, young goats are referred to as kids, because they are the same pitch as children.
Mm-hmm.
And there's times when those goats over there screaming, and I can't tell if it's an animal or a child. And I'm like, oh, and I'd like take off running. I'm like, fucking goat. And you're like, gosh dang it, lock it up, goat. Lock it up. Tips for zeroing a scoped rifle. Start close to the paper and then back up. Don't put a new optic on your newest knitting needle and start out at 100. So usually what I'll do is 3 to 4 rounds close, 10 to 25 yards. Get on paper, get to the center of the paper, back up 50 yards, 3 more rounds. Yep, here's where I'm hitting. Back up to 100. And now you can start printing groups and dialing, and do not chase the round. Don't fire one round and you're aiming center and it lands over here and go, okay, well, I got to adjust for that. And then you shoot the next round and it lands over here and like, what the hell's going on? No, you shoot groups and you zero based upon groups where the groups are landing, not where individual rounds land, because you could have flinched on it or hiccuped or the wind picked up or whatever. So do not chase the round, shoot groups and start close because ammo's expensive, super expensive. And so you don't want to waste a whole bunch of ammo at 100 trying to get on paper. Get on paper close. That's easy. Then back up. So, you know, every knitting needle is an individual, but 20 to maybe 40 rounds to zero. But for me, it's usually about 20 rounds. Unless it's something that I need absolute precision from. Bore sight at first, 2-sight in is good. Yeah, so that depends on the bore sight laser that you're using, because some of them are not. I've had a few. I had one that was really good and a bunch that were just cheap pieces of garbage. Bear, realistically, if you have to pick 2 knitting needles, which 2? Why?
Ones you can hit paper.
First of all, like, variety's the spice of life, right? Which 2 are you picking? The one that I'm wearing, it's a block, one less than 20, 1 letter shy of Yankee, a block 20 Yankee. And then I've got another block, block 1 less than 18. Yeah. It's not a block 18 though, because that's a whole different thing. Those, man. No, he said two handheld knitting needles. If I had to pick, those are the 2. Why? Because they work. That's what they shoot. That's what I shoot. That's what I carry. They always work. Well, they're not sexy or fun. Don't care. You know what's sexy? Hitting your target.
Not being dead. That's super sexy.
Yeah. Being alive.
Never seen a sexy corpse. Not once.
Good insight, Bug Out Bob. Shalom, Tiago Gamke. What's up, Chris Haynes?
You can build compost piles.
Yeah, they do help with composting.
They do.
Block 18 is my EDC. Roger that.
Dude, who are you? We should be friends.
Who sponsors your ammo?
Yeah, what the shit? Even with steel case.
Somebody said had to learn to sew in basic. Had to. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with sewing at all. I know how to sew. Actually, so I grew up super poor, right? And one of the ways that us kids would get spending money and eventually it turned into funding household operations.
There it is.
4-H. We did 4-H growing up.
Really?
I had blue ribbon chocolate chip cookies, blue ribbon paper mache, blue ribbon sewing projects, showed animals, all that. 4-H, because blue ribbon was like $100. So you enter all these kids in all these subjects, right? There were years where I left for $3,000 or $4,000 in blue ribbons and awards.
Wow.
And for like a family that's got nothing, that's big money.
Dude, that for a family that has something, that's
Yeah,
money.
yeah, man. And so
back then, especially, holy smokes.
I'm saying. So, yeah, I can sew. There's another thing you know about me.
Every man should be able to sew at least a simple tear or rip.
For sure.
Dude, Pat Mack just did a video on that. He's like, fixing the button on your shirt. Dude, basic dude stuff.
That's easy peasy.
That's
like
basic dude stuff.
That shouldn't even require instruction. Like, but clearly it does.
They didn't show me on TikTok.
What's up, Jacob Metcalf? Recommendations on mosquito spray with a shallow well. Are you spraying the well or spraying yourself? Because spraying yourself, this is what I use right here. It's gonna make all of the hippies amongst us very upset. Repel 100, 100% DEET. You're gonna get cancer, he said to the guy holding the cigar. So yeah, we're all gonna die, and I'm not saying that you should expedite the process, but let's get deeply philosophical for a moment. Quantity or quality? I'm gonna go with quality.
Is that what I think it is?
Yeah, that's that fire right there. That's that gas. Already got tagged a couple times.
Nice, Badger. Sewed my own rock patches on denim jacket in high school. Yup.
Oh, I love the smell of DEET on my skin.
Tavar said driving is more dangerous than 100% DEET. I agree. What cigar tonight? Tabak Special, Red Eye Edition from Drew Estate. DEET is excellent headlight lens cleaner. Good to know. I've never sprayed myself and jumped on my hood, but I'll try.
Multi-purpose.
I'll take some of that too, please. Thank you. Yeah, I got flops on, which is a rarity for me. Which is fine. If Sasquatch shows up, you guys that have actual shoes on, so you go first. I'll cover you.
I'm good to go.
There's a big knitting needle right there.
I'm ready. I stay ready to party. I'm 100% down to do hood rat shit.
Take that, Squatch, man. Where did you get the flag behind you? Is it available to the public? So this is Prepper's Purpose. This is the Make Us flag. Right here. And my brother Yankee makes these flags. And Howitzer Hill is his channel on YouTube and on Instagram and on TikTok ? I don't know. He's been doing a lot of war with TikTok. So he may not currently be there anymore, but he got like pretty damn big, like 250,000 people on TikTok, and they pulled his channel because he was saying freedom stuff. So
do they have it on the BI site?
I don't know.
Some stuff on the BI site.
You might find it on Bear Independent. I know their store is linked to our store, so I don't know if it's there or not.
I know it's on his store.
Yeah.
And like, I don't think the hoodies are still available, but the t-shirts are. It's a dope flag.
Yeah, man. Howitzer Hill. Howitzer Hill. So check out Howitzer Hill. Full Moon, thank you, Refuge Medical, for getting my order to me so quickly. Thank you for paying us to get your order to you so quickly. Like, that's a successful business relationship right there. By the way, before I forget, we just got some more of these in. Not a lot more because Russia is trying to take over the world right now. I mean, knitting profusely currently. I never opened one of these until recently. These are $57. This is the North American Rescue Bleeding Control Kit. It comes in a package like this. You stick it in a desk drawer, in a glove box, in a backpack, and whatever. It's got a bunch of stuff in it. It's got 2 pairs of gloves, a burrito blanket, a set of shears. These are not their EMT shears that we use in our kits, but they are still good shears. 2 packages of wound packing gauze, a Sharpie for drawing phalluses on your passed out buddy, a 6-inch pressure dressing, and an orange Gen 7 cat tourniquet for like $57. The tourniquet's 30 something of this right here. So the fact that and it comes with instructions, which you should already know because the time to read the instructions is not when we're dying. Okay, just like you don't zero your knitting needles when it's time to start knitting. But it does come with instructions in case you're like, my arm's gone. What should I do now? Let me take my off and flick the pressure. There it is.
Oh, page 3.
Damn, I never staged the tourniquet. Okay, well, tell my mom I loved her. So, anyway, these are in stock at the store. I think they're on the front page of the store currently, but they're the North American Rescue Bleeding Control Kits at Refuge Medical. We do have, do we still have adventure kits in stock, or are they all gone?
I think we still have a few.
adventure kits in stock. Somebody mentioned the stomp bag too. We have stomp bags in stock right now.
We got Stompies. We had some adventure kits. Foe's checking to see if we have, no, he's doing something. What are you doing? Peeing? Foe's peeing. Never mind. I thought he was doing some. I thought he was doing some quick customer service, but no, he's just had to urinate.
Everything's available except for boo-boos right now.
Quickest turnaround.
Everything's available except for boo-boo kits.
Yeah.
Hot damn, praise ya.
Yeah.
So today's the day. Go buy it, because it will not be there tomorrow. Praise ya. That's awesome. So if you've been waiting for a Bear Fac, if you've been waiting for an SOB, if you've been waiting for whatever that Refuge Medical makes, apparently today's the day. I didn't even know that. Shows you how involved I am in my own companies, right? I do the strategic stuff. They fill the orders so that we can worry about strategic stuff. They do a lot of strategy as well. What's up, Raincat? I'll be hosting a ladies' knitting tea party here this September. That's awesome. I should buy an adventure kit bag. Go for it, Texas T. I know you and Foe email. Just shoot Foe an email.
Don't we owe him an adventure kit
You
back?
probably do.
We do. It'll be going out next week.
Foe will be sending it out to you, brother. Don't worry about it. I got my third bear fact very quickly. Best stuff out there. Thank you, Sheepdog. Dental kit still in the pipeline. Joshua, what's up, Joshua? Yes, we're working on the dental kit. Here's the problem. 3 syllables, 2 words, bane of my existence. No, it's not Joe Biden. It's supply chain. The dental equipment is an entirely different pipeline than medical equipment, which is a different pipeline than trauma equipment. And right now, because of the demands that have been put on the entire world to stock inventory because of uncertain supply chains, suppliers, wholesalers, manufacturers don't want to make new friends with people like us because they can't even keep up with the accounts that they have. And so that's really put the kibosh on launching some of the new products that we want to launch because we can't even get the stuff to launch them. So I want to make a dental kit. I want to make a good dental kit. I could sell you a half-assed bullshit dental kit right now, and I hope you guys know that I would never do that because, A, it's unrighteous. B, you don't want to find out when you need it. Oh, turns out this thing's a piece of shit.
Right.
And yeah, but it's almost like we know whether it works or not. Hey, I guess your vehicle runs after an EMP. Cool. How are we going to test that? I don't know. And I'm not saying they don't work. I'm saying I don't know that they do work, right? It makes me a little suspect. So it's kind of the same thing, like with a first aid kit, medical kit, a trauma kit, a surgical kit, a dental kit. You're going to find out it doesn't work when you need it. And if you need it, it's really damn bad, right? That's a really terrible time to find out it doesn't work. So I don't want to be that guy. What's up, Billy Hill? My CERT team is doing Until Help Arrives, aspects of Stop the Bleed, bringing bleeding control kit to the class as an example. Thank you, Jim. That's awesome. Buying all the things is great. Knowing how to use them if they work is mandatory. I agree completely, Christopher Fisher. I agree completely. That's why, like, I wear it as a badge of honor that we've got 39 saves to date with refuge gear. Because it's not a good idea that we had. Hey, you know what would be cool if... Oh, snap. There's a knitting needle over there. I just noticed. I got to turn the camera back over. Sorry, Todd. Oh, so sorry.
And no, I'm joking.
Who knows? But it wasn't a good idea that we had. They actually work. So...
Stay survived.
Shit. Got my bear fact. Thanks. Thank you, Carl. What's up, Anna Powell? Met Anna Powell in Florida, Tallahassee, Florida, at the joint op that we did with Angry American.
Really?
Yep. She drives a semi-truck for a living.
Sweet.
She's cool. Tactically Toro, what's up, man?
What up, TT?
So, what are the questions we got? I remember when there was only 10 lives saved. Glad your company's still going strong. We need more like you. Thank you, Justin S. Praise the Father, man. It's not all us. It's his provision, protection, and blessing coupled with our blood, sweat, and tears. And that's a recipe for success. So, some days there's more blood, sweat, and tears than others. So, what are the Nephilim? Genesis 6, verse 4. And the giants were in the land in that day, and also the men of renown, the offspring of fallen angels. Jump into that rabbit hole. I'll see you in about 90 days.
Just ask Bob.
Be careful.
Be careful. Yeah, there's a lot of bull crap in there.
All of a sudden, you're going to be thinking there's an earth inside the earth, and it gets dangerous.
Shipwreck. Bear, you may not count me as 40, but you're the one who got my attention to get right with God after a very long time. I really appreciate that, and great training in Birmingham. Thank you, Shipwreck. Praise the Father. So we count lives that are saved with refuge medical kits, and we talk about 39 lives saved. I don't know how many lives we've reached for the Most High, but I definitely think it's more than that.
Yeah.
We've given away 4,000 copies of the scriptures, which is badass. And we've, at men's retreat, was it 22 baptisms at men's retreat in a 3-day weekend. Praise Yah, man. Like, and so we count those. We don't count them for Refuge Medical. Those are just for the Father. So long live Oklahoma, or the Res, or wherever I am right now. Barristan. Long live Barristan. Hydro for off-grid power, ? Met TC dependent. How much water do you have? How much power do you need? If not a lot of power and a lot of water, hell yeah. If not a lot of water and you need a lot of power, hell no. Long live Fredville. Chris Haynes remembers that video. That was one of our best performing Patreon videos ever. Fredville, established 2021. Ken Warland, farm up the road rotates crops, 1 year corn, next year soy. This year, wheat. Sorriest wheat field I've ever seen. Fertilizer, Virginia. What's up, Ken? Hey, man, I don't know, but I know a lot of farmers are not planting corn this year because it requires a lot of fertilization for monocropping. And there's a lot of fertilization not available for monocropping right now because of the global knitting scenarios going on right now. Best chicks to start off with, the ones that you can get. Kind of like dating as a teenager. The one that you can get. I like dual use birds, so I like birds that are good layers but also have a good amount of meat on them. So like Australorps are a good breed. Barred Rocks, there's lots of good chickens out there, but dual use birds, layers and good meat on them. If you're going to go straightly, that's not a word. Maybe it's a word, not in the context I want to use it in. If you're going to go straight towards meat birds, I despise the Cornish cross. I hate them. They are abominations. I do like Freedom Rangers though. And so Freedom Rangers take a couple weeks to grow out longer, a couple weeks longer to grow out than a Cornish cross does, but they're just so much healthier birds. And you are what you eat, and Cornish cross looks like a pile of shit. So, would not recommend them. Amen, Cornish cross are disgusting. What's up, Lone Star Living? Wyandottes, also good birds, man. I did see that PSA released their 5.7 knitter. I got an email from them, apparently like you did, Tabar. I have no interest in getting into 5.7. Like, not even a little bit. Like, just shoot 22 Magnum. Unless you're a cool guy that can get the cool guy knitting needles for that, or the cool guy yarn for that knitting needle. What's the friggin' point? Shoot 22 Magnum.
5.7 is crazy expensive.
Yeah, it's dumb expensive.
It's like almost the price of 50 cal ammo.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Barrett 5.7. Barrett 5.7. Like, I'll take the Barrett.
Have you ever had ducks? I have had ducks. I personally despise ducks. I much prefer ducks that I have shot with a shotgun for eating than ducks that I've raised for meat, believe it or not. And we had French ducks. Rowans is what they were. And I hated them. They were loud. They were messy. They destroyed their water. They destroyed their pen. They tasted like trash. Not interested. Hey, what's up, NWA Prepper? 5.7 seems cool, but I don't need to add an additional size needle to my sewing kit. That's exactly where I'm at, man. And I'm not even, for civilian ammunition, I'm not even sold on 5.7 personally as a round worth having an inventory. If you can get the cool guy yarn for it, it's a good knitting needle. But it's also a different type of yarn that you got to stock now. So,
you can't share that yarn.
Yeah, exactly. Who are you going to share that yarn with? And when you run out of yarn,
yeah,
where are you going to get more yarn from? Because if you're running like standard size yarn, standard knitting needles, no big deal, bro. Like everybody and their brother has got what you need. 6'5" Creedmoor. Every live stream. Yes, you have my permission to buy a 6'5" Creedmoor. That's really what you're asking. You don't need my permission to buy a 6.5
Isn't that a
Creedmoor,
band?
but you have it. No, that's Creedence Clearwater. Or Creed.
There's no way you're thinking of Creedence Clearwater.
No, I'm not.
From 6'5" Creedmoor, right?
I was. No.
Watched your video on the Palmetto PI-10. Did you figure out the drum issue? I have not yet figured that out because I haven't had an opportunity to get back to the range with it. Somebody said, do you ferment your chicken feed? And the answer to that is no, because I don't feed my chickens. My cows and my sheep and the bugs and the grass feed my chickens. So they eat what falls out of the cattle troughs and the sheep troughs. And any sheep processing videos, only 3 of them on Patreon, and probably 50 videos on how we keep sheep and what we feed them and how we rotate them. And didn't we do an entire sheep processing live stream? Dudley's in here. Dudley, didn't we live stream processing a sheep one time? Like, yeah, we've killed and butchered a lot of sheep on video. Like, we eat a lot of sheep.
I know we have live streamed cooking one that one night.
Yeah, we live streamed cooking it for sure, which was cool. Yes, NWA Prepper, you have my permission because you 100% need it as an adult male. You need my permission to go buy more knitting needles. Yes, we did in HD. Thanks, Dudley.
But Honey Bear said I could.
I think a lot of what happens is it's almost like nut and fancy syndrome, where people buy something and then they're like, I don't know if I made a good decision or not. I'll see what Bear says. And in a way, I appreciate that because you're relying on my experience and expertise. And that's cool. Like, that's part of my job. But at the end of the day, if you like it, do it.
Right.
Like, you don't need my permission to do it. If you're like, I really like... These are my favorite types of knitting needles right here. Okay, cool. Go for it. If this is you, love it. Don't care. What about interoperability? Variety's the spice of life. I love interoperability. I love it. I also like when knitting needles can go through car doors and stuff. So.
Yeah, that's definitely not a goat.
Nope, that's a weasel. What are you doing? Sounds like she's talking to Sean.
She's still on the patio.
Sounds like Harlem.
No LaShawn hurrah, bro. What's up, Raincat? Enjoying the gardening updates. Too cold here still. Bad Wabbit had snow this morning. Wow. Yeah, I saw a video from Michael at Asymmetrical Preparedness where he was in like a jacket and a toboggan hat on, and I was like, I think I'm dying of heat stroke. And he's got his little furry cap on. Yeah, you were dying of heat stroke yesterday.
I was close.
I almost died of heat stroke on Monday, which is why I've been scarce this week. Like, I legit
I saw on the text string. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I had to stop what I was doing and put my hands in my head for a hot minute, and then like pound water and go inside.
Yep.
It was bad. So, yeah, and it doesn't just go away. Like it lingers.
No, it lingers. I
Yeah.
felt it this morning too.
Yeah.
Well, the heat index yesterday was like 106 or something.
Was
like
it
that.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was intense.
Wow.
Like, the humidity is what does it in, and it doesn't feel as bad until you start like doing a lot of movement, and the air quality like plays a big part in that because your oxygen intake is decreased, and then you're like, oh shit, here I go dying.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's time to fill the pool.
Yeah.
We're filling it now. Yep, we're filling the pool now, which is
Glad
funny.
Glad I gave you permission.
Thank you. I appreciate that, folks. Couldn't have done it without you. It's snowing in the Pacific Northwest, and we're filling our pool in eastern Oklahoma.
America's such a variety-filled.
I know.
country.
It's like no wonder. Like, I think balkanization is in our future for sure. I was actually listening. I've been listening to a guy, doctorate level church lectures about church history. I got a cutter if you need one.
Yeah, if you do.
Yeah, I gotta.
He's talking about the Byzantine Empire and where that came, Western Rome, Eastern Roman Empire, and the whole nine. And I was listening to that earlier, thinking like, I wish more people studied history,
Oh.
especially history of things that they say are important to them. So at least you have some context around the thing that you say is important to you. And weak leadership and infighting, coupled with the fact that the Roman Empire had overextended itself, began the crumble of the Roman Empire. And Rome, in the Roman Empire, its farthest reaching parts, 476 AD, I believe it was, just began to fall apart. But it lingered on for another 1,000 years after that. But all those different nation states that they were controlling, everything balkanized. And out of that, you get, the Byzantine orthodoxies and the whole nine. And like people are like, well, that could never happen in the United States. It's like it has happened to every other country thus far, and it is happening to us now.
Well, our territories have already balkanized. Like,
For sure.
We've already been in that for 60 years.
Mhm.
All the territories that we support, whether it be the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, we played a lot of support in Venezuela to the point where we put in the regime that let it fall apart into socialism. I mean, we have six. I mean, look at GWAP. Like, are you holy shit? Like, we have played that game super hard for the past 55, 60 years.
It's unfortunate because we ain't what we used to be. And it doesn't mean like, and that's another thing that people really misunderstand. The system changes. The system goes away. The people perpetuate. You go to Rome today, right? Rome is no longer the center of the known universe when it comes to power and influence, right?
Right.
But it was for a long period of time. That'll change. And then for a while it was Paris, right? Then it was London, and then it was New York City, the center of finance and capital. What's next? Probably Jinhao province, China.
Yeah,
Shanghai,
China's
probably.
due.
Yeah,
They are in the global scale.
Yep. And you're absolutely right. And so, but the people endure. There's still people in Rome. They're still living their lives. They're still more or less financially successful, like depending on what decisions they make and how they operate. They're still doing the things. Like they're still there. And so that's why you don't want to be dependent on the system, because the system is what goes away. And it's really when you get into like the prepper doomer porn fantasies that people really start losing their shit. They're like, but what happens if we, it's mutually assured destruction? Then we all die. What do you care? Unless you're like one of those dudes that has like the, I survived in my bunker for a year and I came out and there were 3 hot women there and now I have to repopulate the earth fantasies. In which case, Mazel Tov. I won't be around, so I don't get to judge you. Like I'll be dead.
I think people like they get obsessed with like the prepper novel idea of like for the next 55 years it's gonna be this like super crazy dangerous thing, and the reality is like all throughout history the most dangerous times are transitionary times.
Exactly.
When power transitions from one center to another center. And what's scary right now for a lot of people is that like we're coming up on a transitionary phase. Like, it's very obvious. Like our economy is starting to fail. Our fiat currency is no longer going to be the most powerful fiat currency. And so with that, like we should, I hope you can, but you can obviously see if you look at it, the transition coming. So people are like, oh shit, it's the end of the world. No, it's not. It's it's probably going to be a super dangerous transitionary phase, but like you got to, dude, don't get caught up in Babylonians nonsense.
Babylonians gonna babble.
Yeah, that's what they do. Like people, I don't know, dude, they get so wrapped around the wheels. I talk to people all the time. They're just freaking out about this. But I've seen 100 messages thus far about diesel fuel in the chat. It's like, yeah, diesel's really expensive. And some places are not going to get diesel. Like, there's going to be a shortage. 100%. You know what's not going to happen, though? Diesel's not going to disappear off the face of the earth.
Yep.
Because diesel powers majority of military vehicles. And there's a war going on right now. And so diesel's getting siphoned towards more vehicles. You just made
me think of something. 2018, I believe it was. DOD, and it began with the Air Force. DOD said, hey, we need all of our vehicles, I think, by 2027. Don't quote me on this.
Needle showing? Oh,
Nope.
are you good?
They're just transitional needle
Oh,
showage. But I believe it was in 2018 the Air Force said, I think by 2027, and then the rest of DoD got on board as well. Said, hey, we need to be able to run all of our vehicles, including ships and generators and trucks and equipment and fixed wing and rotary wing aircraft, everything on coal-based fuels.
Really?
Coal-based fuels. Just saying, if there's a war coming, which there is, and if we need to be able to run our equipment on coal, and so if that happens, I'm not saying it will, but if that happens, right, that's going to eat up some of the supply of coal, because it's going to be going into making fuel for vehicles rather than fuel for electricity. But also, I wonder if that's part of what they're like, global warming, man. You don't burn coal. It's bad for the environment. It's like, yeah, we're burning up our petroleum strategic reserves. I wonder if I just thought of this.
Yeah.
I've done zero research on this
Yeah.
within the last 3 years. But yeah, interesting concept. West Virginia will be on top again. No, you'll be in a valley again because you took the tops of all the mountains and pushed them into the valley so you could get to the coal. I love the people of West Virginia, and there is some beautiful, beautiful areas out there. But mountaintop removal is an abomination. That is a shitty way to mine the earth. Like, it's an abomination.
It's unfathomable, actually. Like,
Mm-hmm.
besides the fact it's just like a waste of resources, there's just better ways to do that shit. It also is like literally destroying the land.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's terrible. They closed the coal power plants in the UP 906. Coal burns for a long time. It does. I do disagree with how they do it. I only spent summers there as a kid. Yeah, I'm not blaming you for mountain time.
It's your fault, Justin.
Damn it, Justin! Why?
You could have stopped them.
He's
Yeah,
gonna get so much hate mail.
it's all Justin's fault.
Dude.
Justin, put your address in the comments.
Dude's YouTube channel, if he has any videos, just got smoked. You piece of shit.
No, we don't dox people. So,
That's other people.
do you think an EMP is a possible scenario? So everything's possible. Everything's possible. It's more along the lines of, do you think it's probable? And so I understand the question that you're asking is you're not really asking me possibility, you're asking me probability. But I just wanted to take a moment to pause there to point out that everything's possible. It's possible that a unicorn shitting $100 bills flies through that door right over there, and then we punch it in the face, feed it some X-Lax, and get that pallet of cash that we were talking about, right? Like, everything's possible, not everything's probable. And so that's the first thing you need to do when you're developing potential or you're ideating on potential threats, right? Identifying and ideating on potential threats, which, by the way, Mike Shelby, Out Front with Mike Shelby YouTube channel, spinoff of Forward Observer, had a great video today about identifying threats. And he had a great video yesterday on strategic locations, so you guys should be subscribed to them. Really good videos. Is it possible? Is an EMP possible? Yes, it's possible. Is it probable? No, I don't currently think it's probable, and here's why. Generating an EMP will require nuclear weapons. If you EMP us, we will nuclear weapon you back. So what did you get? And the reason EMP crops up over and over and over again is because historically, now we've only used 2 nuclear weapons. The whole planet has only used 2 nuclear weapons during wartime. But you nuke things that you want to deny to the enemy, not that you want to occupy. Okay? So, if you're China and you own 38% of our farmland and half of our stock market, and your economy's in the shitter, and you can't feed your own people anyway, and we're still, whether we like each other or not, each other's largest trade partners, nuking us is a really bad idea, because they just destroyed all the infrastructure that would then have to be replaced, right? And so you nuke things you want to deny to the enemy, not that you want to occupy yourself, because you can't do anything there for the next at least 30 years, probably more like 100 years, right? And so that all that farmland gone. And by the way, they're not nuking the farmland; they're nuking the effing city you live in or live near.
Yep.
Just so we're all on the same page here. Population density matters for a lot of reasons. They're not nuking eastern Oklahoma. There's nothing here to nuke.
That's the goal.
But
Nuke the
LA,
people,
New York,
take
Dallas,
it.
Houston, San Antonio, St. Louis, you know, pick a major city. So anyway, but EMP, the problem with EMP is escalation of force. If you use a nuclear weapon to generate an EMP, we will use a nuclear weapon back on you to generate the death of you and everybody you love. So now another point, yeah, so the silent majority brought up the Carrington event. You can also have an EMP from a solar flare, and the sun is doing dumb things lately, like extra dumb things. It does dumb things occasionally, but it's doing lots of extra dumb things right now. Ben at Suspicious Observers, great YouTube channel. Short, succinct videos. If you don't know what the hell solar flares are and X flares and all that, like, you're going to have to watch a bunch of Ben videos before it starts making sense, because he's not an apologist and he's not even really teaching you what these things mean. He does a little bit, but he's more so reporting on what the sun's doing and then leaves it to you to understand what he's talking about. But really good channel, excellent videos, and they're short, they're to the point, they're very, very good. My wife watches him every day, and I watch him every few days. Oh, there's a breeze. Praise Yah. Get this little window right here. Yeah. Well, I don't know if you... I'm totally off that. Hey, internet, hold on 1 minute. I got the walls up on that thing over there.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, so now I got to get the stairs up. Actually, a couple of brothers need to get the stairs up. And then finish the electrical, throw an AC in that, and then we have a space to like do stuff in.
Oh, yeah.
A place to not sweat.
A place to not sweat.
I
Yeah.
want to look at that really quick.
Go for it.
Yeah.
So, a Carrington type event is definitely possible, and the sun is definitely doing dumb things that could cause such a thing like that to happen. But as far as inducing an EMP, you're welcome, Ghost. Like a human-made, man-made EMP, I don't think that's near as likely as the sun doing something stupid. A global grapevine. If you're going to ask a question, ask it. The comments go by at warp speed. So I see your word question. I don't see the question. So send it. We are due, though, William Ashley. We are due. Thoughts on tribulation? No. I'll tell you what. Because I get asked this question practically every live stream, and it's too much of a subject to address in a live stream format. I am reading the book of Revelation right now, every week on YouTube. So how about you tune in on Sundays and we read the book of Revelation together, and then you'll get my thoughts on the tribulation. What's up, Jammin' Joe? Use of online attacks more probable. Suspicious observers has been a staple of mine for 5 years. Heck yeah. What's up, Nels Mohawk? Do you reload your own ammo? Nope. I let people with reloading machines do that for me. Thank you, Harry Hall. It's happening. Don't expect the rapture, though. Exactly, Bare Metal. There you go.
Super nice.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a couple bunks on the one end, a couple of desks, bookshelves, racks for knitting needles.
Yes.
It's going to be good.
Ooh. Say, Travis, email us the story.
What?
He got to use his trauma kit today for the first time.
Share with the class, Travis.
Yeah, Travis, email us. Admin at Refuge Medical. Unless it wasn't ours. Next, I'm buying a bear kit. Well, if it wasn't ours, either way, you know what? I'll tell you what. If you're part of the Bear Nation and you used somebody else's kit to render aid or save somebody's life, I'll replace their bullshit with ours. Email me. And I won't even take credit for it. It's not a Refuge Medical life saved, but good on you for rendering aid. Email us, sales@refugemedical.com. We'll take care of you. What's up, Devin? Yeah, Devin, we're talking all about knitting needles and crocheting and yarn, and so got my Bible. Thanks, y'all. Thank you, 2 bits and a pepper. 5 tankers was given to Europe in the last 18 hours. That's honorable AF. Eclectic. Thanks, man. I'm not in this for money. If I was now, granted, money is important to run a business with, but I'm not in this for money. It's not my primary motivator. I want people to have the tools I need to save other people's lives. That is why we love you, TJ, but don't go bankrupt. I won't. One kit's not going to break me. Shalom, NWA Prepper. Good night, brother. Love y'all. God bless. Travis, just shoot us an email. Tell us what you did. Tell us where to send a kit. We got you. Ohana said, food shortage thoughts. It's coming. I've been talking about this. Guys, get on Patreon. And I'm saying this with love in my heart. Get on Patreon. It's $5 a month. I guarantee you have $5 a month. And if you don't have $5 a month, you need to not be on YouTube. You need to go do something so you can come up with an extra $5 a month. Okay? Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we talk about this on Patreon. Talked about it Tuesday morning here on YouTube in the garden update. It's gonna happen. It's already happening. We went from 570 million tons globally of backstock for emergency inventory for grain to like 70 million tons of grain, of which China has half of it. Massive drought in the breadbasket of the US. Ukraine and Russia are not exporting any wheat. Russia's not exporting any fertilizer. Drought in South America. American farmers in many places, it's too wet and the soil's too cold for them to plant right now. It's gonna happen. And I've been saying for months now, I believe by Q3 of this year, unfortunately, there will be food rationing. And you may not see it as rationing, but it will be. What you will see is the things aren't on the shelves that you want to buy. And if they are, I'm sorry, sir, you can only buy one of those.
We see
That's rationing. That's already happening. You're just not calling it rationing.
Yeah, you're not in line yet, but you will be.
That's exactly right. You're not standing in a line yet, but you will be. You will be. I hope you won't be. I hope you've been taking all the advice we've been giving at this channel for 4 years and that others have been giving for 4 decades.
Just put 100 pounds of wheat in buckets 2 days ago.
Praise Yah.
Praise
That's
Father.
awesome.
Because of a good brother and a good sister picking me up some.
That's awesome.
Because community.
Right.
Because we can't be everywhere at once.
Right, but you're gonna go fix somebody's driveway.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
On your time. You know what I mean? Like that's how it works.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not me. It's we.
That.
And some days that's easier than others. Some days, occasionally you need some me so that you can get back to we.
Can't pour from an empty cup.
That's exactly right. You can't pour from an empty cup. What about EMPs caused by falling satellites rather than missiles? It still doesn't matter. So knowledge bombs. I'm going to not get frustrated, even though I've said this 100 times already. Guys, the whole thing that predicated my working relationship with the Department of Defense and the Defense Intelligence Agency is the fact that I know how the national electrical grid works. I built it, a whole bunch of it. That was my job. And after 9/11, there were a bunch of people that went over to the sandbox to go kill the people that didn't fly planes into buildings. That's a whole nother story. But then there were also a bunch of people that stayed here domestically to make sure that the people that didn't fly planes into buildings also didn't do more bad stuff here. Part of that was the defense of the national grid, which is indefensible. Take it from me. I built a bunch of it. It's indefensible. It is fragile. It is old. It is easy to break. Not only is it indefensible, it is easy to break. You need to get it out of your head that the grid will be around for a long period of time. It will not. Every day you should be working a little bit more to get independent of this broken, fragile system, because I call it broken and fragile for a reason. Okay? It's going to go away. It's going to go away. Get that through your thick skull. It's going to go away.
100 drones in different places in the country flying into substations at the same time could have the same effect.
That fast.
Like, it doesn't have to be some big, traumatic nuclear event.
You, me, foe, and the stuff we have in this barn and a pickup truck, we just go make a tour of the county. We can isolate this county in 2 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
Easy. And here's the thing, with no electricity, fuel doesn't flow. So right now you're worried about diesel prices. How about when there's no diesel at all because you can't get it out of the ground? Well, we'll hook up backup generators. Yes, ? Maybe that can be done, but it's not as easy as you think. How are you going to fuel those generators? So there's logistical issues there. So fuel doesn't flow. Refrigeration doesn't happen. Just-in-time logistics go right out the door. Okay? Commo doesn't happen. Law enforcement, EMS, firefighters aren't dispatched, or if they are, they're dispatched haphazardly because there's no commo. Logistics moves at the speed of communication. Obviously, security is an issue because there's no lights on at night. Just recharging batteries. Everything we do these days is predicated on the successful flow of electrons, and it's going away. Somebody said gasifier, and that's great if you have the fucking gasifier now. Because I can tell 3,000 kilowatts solar panel array. Do I have one? No. If you have a gasifier, awesome. If you don't, shut up. Okay? No, oh, you can use hydroelectric power in your creeks, Bear. No, I can't. What's up, following Yeshua? People aren't thinking about this at all. People aren't thinking, most of them, but bless you, brother. Hydroelectric power. Guys, my job at its most basic level was to spin a rotor inside of a stator to allow electrons to flow, whether that was using steam or wind power or coal or whatever you might have. Number 2, fuel oil, and in some cases it was photovoltaic electricity as well. But that's basically what it comes down to. Spin the rotor inside of the stator to make the electrons flow. There's an economy of scale to that. All right. Yes, I could throw one of those things that looks like a portable house fan in my creek, and it could slowly spin and make me 3.2 volts DC, 0.6 amps per hour, and I might, after 3 or 4 days, charge a car battery with it. What am I going to do with that volume of power? The answer is nothing. Well, you could charge your ham radio. I could do that, or I could build an actual robust array. And I don't enjoy arguing with people about electricity because it was my job. And some of y'all know as much as I do. A few of you know more than I do. The vast majority of you don't know shit when it comes to electricity. And I say that with love in my heart, but you don't know. And I'm telling you, from inside of it to the outside to y'all, it's going away. Not only is it a fabulous target for 5th generation warfare, asymmetric warfare, because everything now has SCADA systems. It's all digital. Hack right into it and shut it down like that fast. It's a tremendous target for 4th generation warfare, insurgencies and terrorism, because it's fragile and exposed, and they're all soft targets. And it's subject to 3rd generation warfare, large scale conventional warfare, and Carrington events and EMPs, which y'all are so super concerned about, and thermodynamics. It's falling apart as we speak and has to be put back together again. And most of the super important components we don't even make here anymore. And The technical labor required to put it back together is now working at Amazon because they have air conditioning, right? They don't have to be outside working on that. It's going away. It's going away. Get it through your thick skulls. It's going away. Adjust your OODA loop. This is something I've been chastising y'all a lot about lately. Don't simply observe something. You have to orient on the fact that it's happening. Then decide what you're going to do about it and then act. Adjust your OODA loop. Because we can all sit around and talk about crocheting needles and knitting all night. We can run our mouths all night long. Don't matter. Don't matter. Because if you're not actually learning what you need to do and then doing it because of these conversations are fruitless and therefore pointless. It's just prepper masturbation at that point. It will bear no fruit. Right? Like Onan spilling your seed on the ground, getting smoked. Yeah. Lanterns, baby, Nels Mohawk said. I agree. I ain't your baby though, bro. Oh, Ginger Prepper, we've been talking about knitting. I bought a bike today. That's awesome.
Like a bicycle?
Hey, I know electric shock.
Praise y'all, Thomas.
You don't turn it off when you're working on it.
That's true.
Yep, that 220 well per pump won't work unless you have a large solar array, right?
And consistent sun to keep your batteries.
Yeah, or a large volume of battery backup.
It's like, where are you keeping that, bro?
Yep.
Like,
yeah, it's
on your off-grid homestead in your prepper fantasy land. Did you build a place to store all of the power for the batteries for all of the electronics you want?
Following Yeshua said, completely off-grid for over 5 years. It's expensive being off-grid, especially if you want to go solar. Agreed.
Yeah.
Yep. That goes back to the question in developing property earlier. We bought this place with houses that were not in great condition, but it was on a good-sized piece of land for an excellent price with 2 houses, 3 wells, electricity already run in, a pond, 3 creeks, 2 springs, septic tanks. Yeah, okay, I can fix the house. Does the rain come from the outside to the inside? No. All right, cool. We can live in that.
We'll figure that out.
We'll figure out the rest later, right? We have time. And so just now, we're in year 4 of being here. Just now, we've bought, I think it was 104 solar panels. Tear-offs. Come off of a commercial job. Awesome. Because we had grid power. And we have small-scale solar in other places for other things, but an actual array, yeah, it's expensive. It takes time.
Also takes a lot of space to put those panels.
Yep, and that's
usually where you're storing your power isn't directly where the best sunlight is because you don't want any shadows inside your sunlight. So now you're running your line to wherever you're actually storing your power, or to your inverter, to then go to your battery storage. And like, dude,
it's complicated.
Yeah,
it's complicated.
Sounds cheap.
Yeah, everything sounds cheap until you start doing it.
Yeah,
dude, and then you've got sunk costs into it, so then you have to keep going to, honor the fact that you've already put money into it, and then cost of things rise over time. So the longer it takes you to do it, the more it's going to cost overall. And then you have opportunity costs. I could be doing something else, but instead I'm stuck doing this. It's huge costs to all these things that most people think, well, I watched a handful of YouTube videos and it's just this easy. This is all you got to do. And I mean, Dudley does that, and he actually does it.
Yeah, he really does.
Like, he learned to drive a semi from watching a YouTube video, which is cool. But most people, again, they're just engaging in prepper masturbation. And they're like, oh, well, Bob on the internet said that I could do this thing, and I guess I'm good to go. And it's like, it's actually not that easy.
Don't listen to me. I'm a liar.
Well, you have to go do it. That's the thing. And if you're not, I can get you probably 80% from where you are to where you need to be. But that last 20% is critical. You have to do that. And how I do what I do may not necessarily work for you. And so if you're taking all of my advice and then trying to apply it to your situation, which is different than mine, and then you get to where you are, having not done it, with all these expectations that it's just going to go swimmingly because Bear said, you're screwed. So It works when you study more than one video. And cable is expensive. What's your length? Gauge wire exactly. Yeah, and you got to upsize your wire for every 100 foot of run and blah, blah, blah. Or direct bury it, but that's a whole nother story.
So wait, is there a Torah for listening to Bug Out Bob? Hold on. There's a Torah for everything, bro.
Yeah, if it exists, there's a Torah for it. Question: how sustainable is homesteading without any outside resources? Not sustainable at all. Homesteads have never existed in a vacuum. Homesteads exist in communities. Your outside resources are your brothers and your sisters.
Yes.
So, yes, you should be homesteading, but you should also be building community. Your homestead exists inside of a community, not inside of a vacuum. You can get pretty damn close, but right now I have 50 tons of cow manure. That's not an exaggeration. I have 50 tons of cow manure. Guess what's going on all my brothers and sisters' gardens? Right? You know who was splitting firewood for me the other day? Not me. Like 6 brothers out here splitting firewood for me because I was busy with something else. Bob will be doing a thing later on in the week for another brother, right? Like, that's how that works. You need others to have a Jonestead, a homestead. Andre Cameron, just cause raising ducks sucks. The PSA 57 was a dumb product email. They still haven't sorted the dagger, and people asking questions with limited context is a pain in the ass. And lastly, stock your supplies floor to rafters because time is running out. So thank you, Andre Cameron. That is awesome. I appreciate you.
That's a good comment. Just
that is just like paying attention.
To the point.
You know, Andre, like, I appreciate the $50 bill. I more appreciate the fact that you're paying attention. Like, thank you.
Just recap the whole live stream.
Yeah,
and
like, there it is.
$50.
We're done. Yeah.
Wrap it up.
Clip notes.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Green screen falls down behind you.
We gotta talk to the producer. This is a different green screen. I wanted palm trees for this green screen.
Is it a Kuba?
We've been living off the land for 50 years. Even with that knowledge and experience, it does not work smoothly.
Good for you.
Yeah, that's a great point, William. Nothing works smoothly. Like, you should have systems in place. You should know what you're doing, but there's nothing smooth about it. By the sweat of your brow, you shall eat your bread. Go read Genesis again.
Yeah.
Like
6 days you shall labor.
Right. Yeah, not 6 days ye shall cruise control.
Yeah.
6 days ye shall labor.
There was no chill in that sentence. Technically, he barely specified a day, what the definition of that was. We're like, 17 hours a day. He's like, no, go to sleep.
Questions: how long will rice and beans last in sealed buckets without Mylar bags or oxygen absorbers? Noob mistake. At least a decade. I've done that too. At least a decade. What I would do also, Spencer Brown. So the beans will require more and more soak time as time goes on. But what I would do, Spencer, is I would leave those buckets outside, not uncovered, but in a place like a barn or a garage or wherever, where it gets hot and cold. And the reason for that is if you have any insect larvae in there, which you do, another fun fact about the food industry, there's 100% insect larvae in your food. But if there's any little buggies in there, you want it where it will freeze and where it will get warm, preferably above 120 degrees, but not over 130 or 140, especially with wheat, because that deteriorates the gluten that's in the wheat. And so now you're going to make porridge, not dough. But yeah, ideally where it will freeze is good for it.
I don't have a big...
Out here in the winter, you just put it outside.
Well, yeah, for sure.
But it's also like he's saying he just put the food in buckets, like just in buckets, no Mylar, no O2.
I've done that.
Me too.
Yeah.
So, what do you think is the probability of war on U.S. soil in the near future? Define war. I think civil unrest is going to turn into factional warfare here in the United States as we balkanize probably within the next decade.
I think it already has. We've had small scale battles. I mean, you have, look at the riots of 2020. you had two different opposing forces throwing explosives. You had actual shootings. Like you had deaths on both sides. Tons of casualties on both sides. Like
Yep.
what do you define as war? I guess would be the better question.
Exactly.
As a dude who's experienced that,
That's a good point.
sure felt like war.
Yep.
Like
Yeah, it wasn't a paintball game.
no,
Yeah.
no, something about a mortar going off like 6 feet from you makes shit a little spicy all of a sudden.
What's your take on raising working dogs as in hunting, protecting as in commodity Dutch Shepherd and Malinois? Do you see value in these after the collapse? I do. I see value in that. I think that's going to be more of a niche. I wouldn't make it the only thing that I know how to do. I'd be really good at growing food and raising and training dogs.
Dudley.
What an a-hole.
It's fucking beautiful, Dad.
How long will bottle and canned beer keep? Depends on how much you drink. If you drink a lot, not very long. If you don't drink that often, it'll keep for a while. Question. First jarring session done with brisket. 2
Perfect.
of 12 jars didn't pop to
Make it
seal
happen.
closed. Should it be thrown out? Also siphoned it a little, so only about 2/3 full of liquid. Just do it again. Just run it again. Run those 2 cans again, Global Grapevine. Just run them again. Put them back in the pressure canner and run them again. Use new lids, though.
You know what's cool? Seeing the names pop up. And you see the names of the others.
Watching my first ever live stream. It's like
Nice.
TV, but with Bear instead.
First ever? Like ever?
Forever, ever. Somebody said that they're definitely going to nuke here because Bear is here. You're a prime target.
Yeah, that's cute. They got bigger fish to fry. I'm a
Right.
nobody. North American Rescue Kit with stuff added. 2 cat tees, chest seals, quick clot patches. Grand mal seizure while standing, large head laceration, as well as a tongue bite stabilized in the neck. Awesome, Travis. Hey, email us. We'll take care of you. Killer drone will do for Bear. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Gonna sleep great tonight. I actually am gonna sleep great tonight. Bear, why is it so hot? Because I'm in Oklahoma. Good night, Bear. Good night, Philip. You will never have enough supply. Survival starts when you run out of everything. Rehoboth Farm. Well, supplies and systems are 2 very different things. If you make sure your animals have grass and water, you don't run out of animals. How do you do everything you do? Get this question all the time. I don't. I have people for that. I don't do everything I do. We do everything we do. I mean, we had a film crew here since Monday. Great guys. Awesome. Enjoyed having them here. Everybody's effing smoked. Guess what? It's done though. Like, awesome. That's a wrap, as they say. And here we are, Thursday night, live streaming like we usually do. And still kids and wife and businesses and prioritize and execute. That's another one too. You hear people, especially in like the self-help and the self-work space, talk a lot about it. You don't prioritize your schedule, you schedule your priorities. You know what you need to do first.
Dude.
Yeah, you know what you need to do first, and then you backfill everything else around that. And so a lot of people are running around like chickens with their heads cut off. They don't have a friggin' idea what they're supposed to be doing, so they try and fill every moment of every day so they can be, air quote, productive, when really all they're doing is just burning themselves out, which is completely counterproductive. And so you need to know what you need to do so that you can do that shit first. And everything else is just, you have things that you really should do. You still have other things that you need to do, and you have things that you want to do, and then the quality of your life depends on how well you prioritize those things and stack them up.
And the trick is to start and do it.
Yeah.
Do that first thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Because then it leads to doing the second thing.
Hell
And
yeah.
it leads to doing the third thing.
Hell yeah. And procrastination is a big thing with people too. It's like, it's another thing they talk a lot about in like the self-help space. Is like, if it takes less than 5 minutes, just do it now. Just do it right now. Has Canadian Prepper ever hit you up? He has not. I'm so glad you brought that name up. I haven't thought about him in months. Awesome.
Another reason there's a problem with Canada.
If America was the Titanic, what stage of the sinking are we in? Interesting metaphor. We haven't hit the iceberg yet. Hang on for the ride.
But it's right there.
Yeah. Don't lose your joy, big guy. I've started your Bible series from the beginning. Seems like this world has taken a little from you since then. Yeah, well, I've got children. The world has done a lot of dumb shit since then as well. The world that I read Genesis 1 in is not the world that I'm currently reading Revelation 4 in.
Ooh, that's heavy.
That's real.
That's super heavy.
That's real.
Grief.
Yeah.
Gosh. Sitting there.
Yeah, following Yeshua had brothers go to the training in Branson.
I heard good things about that training too.
Always hear really good things about the trainings.
Oh, dude.
They just get better each time.
Yeah.
Each training they get better and better.
I'm so grateful to have gone to one. I got my ass beat a good portion of it, but it was worth it.
Yeah, trainings are no joke. Land should be cheap soon if you can get a loan. No, you don't get a loan. Land should be cheap soon. Bust your ass and get out of debt.
There it is.
Bust your ass and get out of debt now while land continues to get cheap. Bear, how was the change from suburban to rural lifestyle? Tremendous. I've never been a suburbanite. I was just a dude that lived in suburbia for a while. I don't like the suburbs. What's up, Edby? Is it a bad idea to get a diesel truck if I need a truck to do the things? Not a bad idea. It depends on what you're doing. If you do a lot of towing and hauling, then diesel makes a lot of sense. If you're getting mulch and plants from the nursery and hauling the occasional stack of firewood, and then a gasser's just fine. I got a 6-liter gas engine in my truck, and it tows like a bad mamma jamma. But there's, and everybody's going to go, but the diesel prices, yeah, everything's going up. Adjust your OODA loop. What's an OODA loop? OODA. Google it and then do it. Praise ya, Rick.
Yeah.
Sharon, thanks. I'll tell you what. Sharon said, I hope you stacked a bucket full of cigars. If there's anything you see me touch in my daily life on camera with y'all, you better bet your ass I have more than one of them.
Buried in the backyard.
I'm just telling you, I don't have a prepping YouTube channel. I prepare and occasionally turn the camera on. There's a huge difference between those two things. I'm not here because I seek your approval. I don't make clickbait videos. I don't care. Most of the time, I'm completely frank with you, and I've talked a lot to the patrons about this. The only reason I'm still on here is because I don't want you to die. Because I care about you. I'm not playing. I do this stuff for real, and occasionally I turn the camera on and talk about it. That's it. But it's not... I don't have I started with a hallway closet that had my prepper stuff in it. And my wife was not a fan. And then that closet couldn't hold anything else. And then I took over a corner of the garage. I took over half the garage. And she's like, where are we going with this? I was like, I don't know. But you are never going to go without. And then I was like, started looking around doing the math, and I was like, I could stack this entire house full of shit, and nobody else, not on this block, not in this neighborhood, in this town, has more than 3 days worth of food in their house. And it doesn't matter how much food I produce in my suburban backyard, which I was, the privacy fence is not bulletproof and it's only 6 foot tall.
Right.
This is unsustainable. I gotta go. And the Father was calling us out of that place for other reasons anyway. And so we left and we came here, and life and life abundantly. Joel Osteen thinks that means a Lamborghini. I think it means this quality of life with this quality of people doing the things that we do. And so wherever you are in that journey, whatever phase of that journey you're in, you should rejoice in the fact that you're on that journey, but keep going.
Global Grapevine had a good question.
What's that?
Question: as a Christian, how do you share the message of preparedness without sharing how prepared you are?
So first of all, you should trust the person at least a little bit that you're having that conversation with, because even by bringing it up, you're basically de facto admitting that you're also preparing. It's a very biblical concept. You'll see a lot of non-denominational evangelicals and charismatic movement types, Assembly of God, Pentecostals, so forth and so on, and Baptists, and pick a denomination. Well, Jesus is my Savior, and He would never let that happen to me. It's like, well, you haven't read the effing book, because not only will He let that happen to you, He will make it happen to you. And so much so that He told Joseph to stack 7 years worth of food. And so the Father does not keep His people from going through hard stuff. He stewards them through hard stuff. Usually by sending men to scream at everybody else to tell them to get their asses in gear, who are referred to as men of Elohim, or prophets, of which I'm not saying I am one. I'm saying that I understand how Jeremiah and Ezekiel and Isaiah felt. I get the frustration. Like, I totally understand it. And I'm talking about putting food in buckets, not your eternal soul.
Right.
Right? Like, I totally get it. I understand why Elijah cut 400 dudes' heads off. Like, I totally get it. 100% makes sense. I completely understand how Samson punched to death 1,000 people. It's just like, righteous rage came over him. He's like, bring me the jawbone of an ass. Today you're going to get some. And you, and you, and you, and 996 other people as well.
Yeah.
I get it. I totally get it. And so as far as like evangelizing about preparedness, I think, especially if you're talking to a brother or sister in Christ, let's start with biblical truth. The phrase scarcity of food and or famine is in the Bible 97 times. Yeshua himself, Messiah, in Matthew 24 says there will be scarcities of food and wars and rumors of wars and earthquakes in diverse places and sickness and famine and disease, right? And these are the beginning of the birth pangs. And unfortunately, in modern Christendom, people have the concept that, that won't happen to them. I can't find anywhere in the Bible where it says that. And I've read it a bunch. And I can't find anywhere else in the Bible where that's what happened to the Father's chosen people. In fact, when it comes to ass kicking, the Father does as much or more ass kicking to his own people as he does to everybody else.
Sometimes more.
Sometimes more. So, and I'd say with anything else, approach them in love. You're doing it out of concern for them. And if you have a deeply held conviction that this is something you need to be doing, but you can't explain it, good news. That's called faith. Faith is not logical. Faith is not something that we do because it makes sense. It's something we do because the cost of disobedience is so high that we can't not do it. Okay? I got one or two more in me. What else we got? I really think it's time. What Bible should I start with? 58 Chevy, email us Admin at Bear Independent, I'll send you one. Famine is a regular occurrence in the Bible. Amen, brother. 87 times. Last time I checked the concordance, 87 times. And by the way, it doesn't end at Matthew chapter 1. Because all the way through into Revelation, they keep mentioning famine.
Should I invest in the Army's new rifle?
No.
No.
Should I invest in the Army's new rifle? No. You should invest in a 5.56 knitting needle and a 308 knitting needle, because my hope is, I can't say for a fact, but my hope is there's going to be a bunch of surplus M80 ball on the market within the next few years.
Oh, gosh. Wouldn't
Yep.
that just be awesome?
Yeah, or a spare 240 or something just laying around.
Oh,
Yep. Yep.
make Bob real happy.
Is the underground viable for those stuck in urban areas? Define viable. If you are, so let's play devil's advocate here. If you're a single man, maybe. Maybe. What kind of quality life do you want to have? If that's what you're into, maybe. Is that something I want my wife and children subject to? Absolutely not. Not even a little bit. You know, I've met people who have said, you know, end times chaos, SHTF, you know, we don't have a lot to offer, but me and my wife have talked about it, and I know she loves me, and we're okay with her selling her body for food. Excuse me? So first of all, you're not worthy of that woman. Like, you're not capable of leading that woman. That is dead ass unrighteousness right there.
What the
fuck? You're gonna give your wife away for rice and beans? Are you shitting me? Like, absolutely not. And so it gives you an idea of where some people's heads go with this. Like, they're so unwilling to accept the possibility that what they come up with to deal with the possibility is, well, I'll just whore my wife out so that I have some food to eat tonight. It's like, I will kill everybody before that ever happens.
Bro, could you imagine having to answer for that? Holy fuck.
There's no good answer.
Dude.
There's no good answer. No, I can't even think about it.
Oh my gosh.
How would you ever look at each other the same way again?
How would you be able to look at the father
You couldn't.
when you got up there and he
I wouldn't
goes,
even be able to come into his presence.
No, you wouldn't. You're right.
I would not. Yeah.
You're right.
Right? I wouldn't. You're absolutely right.
Smokes.
So
That's crazy.
Yeah. So getting back to the underground, is that a life that you could live? Maybe. That's exactly right. Following Yeshua, adultery, punishable by death for him. Yep. So maybe you as a single man could function in the underground. Maybe. For how long? Depends on the severity of the situation and how good you are. Would I do that with a family? No. Not even close. Also, where's your underground? Who's your underground? Who are you fighting against? What are you doing to get by? You're going to end up with blood on your hands sooner or later. And there's lots of righteous men that have had blood on their hands. Are you a righteous man with righteous blood on your hands? That's a whole nother story.
And you said it, right? Get by.
Yeah, you're going to get by.
Like, that's not what you're created to do.
Nope.
Life abundantly.
Yep.
Like,
rule and subdue, homeboy.
oh,
Dude.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, Tora said, hell no.
See, that's the other thing too, is like, it illustrates the point of, you better know what your red lines are right now, because as things continue to degrade, if you don't know where your hard lines are, you will capitulate, you will compromise, you will talk yourself out of this thing and into this thing over and over and over and over again. You better know where you stand right now. Like, we have hard go and no-go lines for us. And people people that are unlearned and un-American, frankly, have a problem with the way we walk our faith. And my answer to that, generally speaking, is kiss my ass. Supersonic rock
I
pile.
was just
Amen.
It's the saying, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Exactly. But there's a lot of people that take issue with the way we live our lives. Don't care. Here's the deal. We know what our hard left and right limits are. And because we all agree on what those things are, I don't have to wonder, how's my brother going to feel about this? Could I get away with this? Well, maybe it's no, negative. We have rules. Rules to live by. Transgression of those rules is to die by. That's the curse of the Torah. It's the death that you earn by your transgression of the law. And it's not, in some cases it is. You transgress the law and the fire will smoke check, or the Father will smoke check your ass. Like 100%. He swallowed Korah and his entire family up that fast. Numbers 14? Numbers 15?
Y'all slapped.
Yeah, slapped, right? Nadab and Abihu, Moshe's kids, or Aaron's kids rather, just like 100-pound hail, right? Boom, done. No, actually, fire came out from the offering for them. They didn't get 100-pound hail. My point here is that you can directly transgress and be smoked in that moment, but in many more cases, it's you bear your crookedness. You carry the weight of those bad decisions that you made, and that is what kills you. Best to not make those bad decisions in the first place. So.
And you're not making decisions based on what you think your brother's going to think of you.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not a popularity contest.
Yeah.
It's obedience to Yah.
right.
Yep.
What's Yah gonna think?
Things are improving. No stupid comments getting wrenched. Thanks, David Carter.
Yeah, there has been a lack of trolls and schwacking this round.
Well, it's because we're
I'm
talking about knitting tonight.
I am. I sharpened my freaking axe before I came over here.
Shalom, Tony John. If you are in the will, then you aren't making decisions.
Ooh.
Good comment,
Ooh,
William.
Fire.
Good comment.
Yeah, that was super big.
It has been great tonight. It's been good live stream.
Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Really good stuff.
Back pat.
Really good stuff with the 766 people that are here
Right?
now.
Yeah. Well, and
Good job not sucking.
yeah, everybody did a good job of not being an asshole to themselves or other people. So well done. We're gonna end with that. I'm going to shut this down and hang out with my brothers a little bit, and then I'm gonna go to bed. So thank you all for being here. We appreciate you guys very much. Thank you for supporting the channel. For real, check out Patreon. We can speak freely over there. There's a link in the description of every video. Your promo code at Refuge Medical for free shipping is Bear Nation, and we appreciate y'all. Y'all have a blessed